Exactly. What we're going to do is I'm going to put some documents on Google Drive, okay, that we're going to open and work on them in our class. Today it's writing class, okay? So what we're going to do is there are two writings and we've seen both of them. The first one, do you remember the first one? Well, you don't have to remember the topic. I want you to remember that it was a writing of one question, no? To 100 to 104 to 190 words. It was writing an essay, no? And you had 3 notes. There were 2 that were already written and 1 that you had to add, no? And talk about the 3 different notes. Yes? So that is the first writing, the one we saw the last time, but the one before. So today, as you already know how to approach that exam, what we're going to do today is work on ideas for the writing, okay? And how to brainstorm for the last note, okay? So I'm going to put you in a context where we're in a class and we have been talking about extreme environments, okay? What are extreme environments, Lucia or Jose Juan? Like a desert, like a jungle, super cold, no? The North Pole or something like that. Patagonia. Okay, yes, extreme environments. Now, I've asked you to write an essay about this. So we know that to write an essay, we have to focus on agreeing or disagreeing with a statement. We have to give information. We have to give also our opinion. So both facts and opinion. We have to give reasons for our opinions. Comparing and contrast ideas. And finally, drawing a conclusion. Okay? It always needs a conclusion. Remember that. Your essay needs always a conclusion. Okay? Well, that's it. So the first thing we have is a question, like in the one before. The question is, okay, the title of the exercise would be, write an essay using all the points and give reasons for your point of view. You can see this on Drive, okay? I know, Lucia, you have opened the document. Jose Juan, are you in the document yet too? If you go a bit down in the first page, it says 1. In your English class, you've been talking about extreme environments, okay? Then it says the title of the exercise. Write an essay using all the points are the notes, okay? And give reasons for your point of view. Write to 140 to 190 words. Do you think adventure tourism and unexplored parts in the world should be encouraged? Okay? This is a question you have to answer. Okay? You have to answer this question. It's very important. It's very important that you answer the questions. Because, Jose Juan, did you read the writing I sent you? The correction? You didn't answer to any of the questions. And even if you had a perfect writing, if you had an answer to the questions, you wouldn't have passed. That is so important. Because you get in your mindset of doing a writing and thinking about, okay, I want to say this, I want to say that, instead of actually reading what they're asking you to do, okay? So we have to answer that question, but we have to answer that question through the different notes. The first note is negative effects of tourism, okay? The second note, personal risk. And then your idea. Well, what we have to do is make an idea, to brainstorm an idea that will be part of the answer to the question above, which is, do you think adventure tourism in unexplored parts of the world should be encouraged? Okay? It can't be just any idea. It has to be one that will help answer that question. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to go down to the second page. Yes. And this is exercise 2. It says, now we're going to match the ideas 1 to 4 with the notes 1 and 2. Here we have 4 different ideas for the notes 1 and 2, which are negative effects of tourism and personal risk. And I want you to match each idea with one of the notes, okay, above in exercise 1. So for example, Jose Juan, can you read the first idea, please? Okay, this is related to negative effects of tourism or personal risk. Okay, very well. It's related to personal risk. Here we have, if people train and prepare for expeditions, there is a good chance they'll be safe. A pro statement to personal risk, okay? Lucia, can you read number 2, please? Okay. Which note does it go to? With negative effects of tourism or personal risk? Yes, perfect. So, the problem is that beautiful places will get spoiled if too many people go there. Negative effects of tourism. This is definitely a negative effect of tourism. And a pro with the question 1, okay? Does it go with negative effects of tourism or personal risk? Yes, perfect. As long as people respect the environment, there should be very little damage. And the 4th, Lucia? And that goes with personal risk or negative effects of tourism. Personal risks, perfect. Okay. So these are an example of 4 different ideas that you could use with this. Okay? What do we see here? What is interesting about this? We have pro and con statements. All of these statements, it's easy to develop them. So what is a good idea? When we see your essay and we read the notes, the best thing to do before you start your writing is actually taking notes for your notes. Okay? Writing a couple of statements that you can continue in your writing. Okay? So, before brainstorming an idea, because it's even better if you think that before, because then your idea, the third idea that you put on here, on number 3, will be directly constructed from the statements that you choose for notes 1 and 2. Do you understand what I say? You will have a more clear idea of what you want to write about in your own idea when you already have at least developed a little bit the notes 1 and 2. Yes? Okay. So, number 3. Now, on page 2, we're going to match the reasons A to D with the points 1 to 4 from the passage given. Okay? We have now to this A, B, C, or D are statements that continue the 1, 2, 3, and 4 statements of exercise number 2. Okay? So now, Lucia, I want you to start. A. An increased number of tourists will lead to more building development. Which one of the ideas in exercise 2 does this match to? 3? It could be 3, but in this case it isn't. Okay? Why? We'll see it more. It's 2. An increased number of tourists will lead to more building development. The problem is that beautiful places will get spoiled if too many people go there. An increased number of tourists will lead to more building development. Why? Because this is both coming from a negative tone. Okay? The problems with tourism, negative effects of tourism. The problem is that beautiful places will get spoiled if too many people go there. An increased number of tourists will lead to more building development. These are 2 problems, both seen with a negative tone. the other one, the one you said before, 3, as long as people respect the environment, there should be very little damage. It's in a positive tone, not a negative tone. Do you see the difference? Yes? As long as people respect the environment, there should be very little damage. This person looks like it's coming from a positive tone, positive point of view of how people don't affect that much the environment if they take care of the things. Okay? B. If people don't know what they're doing, it can endanger their life and the lives of others. Because of one, which one do you think it goes to from exercise 2? Perfect. Yes, it's 4. Okay? Very well. Both with a negative tone. Okay? You can see this here. And 3, Lucia, can you read it? The C? Responsible. Okay? And avoid leaving rubbish around. So which one this go with then? Three, yes. As long as people respect the environment, there should be very little damage. So it requires people to be responsible and avoid leaving rubbish around. Yes? So this goes with number 3. And the last one, Jose Juan. Number 1, the one left, right? Okay, read it for us, please. If people train, yeah. No, continue. Equipment. Equipment, yes. To help people, very well. Both, so we had 2 statements, different statements, one coming from a positive point of view and one coming from a negative point of view for both notes, okay? Very interesting ones too. Now that we have seen examples that were of where you take these notes, I want you to write down some points of view, okay, from your own ideas for notes 1 and 2. Okay? Statements you would use in your writing for negative effects of tourism and 2 for personal risk. Statement has to be 1 sentence, no more, from where you can develop later. Okay? I don't want you to write down here a writing. I want you to write a statement. Okay? So I want to do it there yourself, please. Lucia and Jose Juan, in exercise 4, I want you to write at least 1 statement. It can be a statement with a continuity, for example, the ones we see in exercise 2 and 3. If people train and prepare for expedition, there is a good chance they'll be safe. These days there's a lot of equipment to help people. You can do like the statement and then they can continue with it or not. But I want you to do at least 1 statement for both, for negative effects of tourism and for personal risk. Lucia, are you thinking? Well, try to write, this is just writing a couple of statements for the point of view above. Just try and think what you would say in Spanish. Okay? Don't start thinking in English. Think in Spanish. Personal risk. From very dangerous, from extreme environments, okay? Always remember that we're answering to the question. We're answering to the questions, do you think adventure tourism in unexplored part of the world should be encouraged, okay? The statement is interesting, it's something where you can go to, okay? An idea that you can develop, but it's not well written. People could change the balance in the place forever. Sounds weird. Okay. Each environment is different on his own way. His? Who is his? Okay, it's better if instead of each, you say every. Every environment. Or, okay? So we're gonna take out each and put every. Jose Juan. Every environment is different on his own way. His own way. On its own way. No, without the apostrophe. On, it's in. Yes, in its own way. Because it's in its own way. It's a fixed phrase. It's in its own way. It means a su manera. Okay? Yeah, but what I'm saying, it's a fixed phrase, so it never changes. It's always like that. If it's a person, you know, you could say, if it's a man, for example, if it was you could say, I could say in his own way, or I could say in its own way too. He's special in his own way, yes. So you have to research about it before you leave. Every environment is different in some way, so you have to research about it before you go. People could harm the balance of the ecosystem and change the environment there for the worse forever. Perfect. Very well done. And Lucia, people need to be conscious about the risk that they are exposed to. Okay, that is like a way to start the paragraph that is going to talk about personal risk. But it's not really an idea, I mean. But it's well. Also, it's well written. We're going to go for exercise 5. Think about what your own point would be for note 3 in activity 1 and compare your idea with Lucia, because it's only 2 of you. There are some suggestions below, okay? Remember to give a reason for the point you choose. Okay? And here are some ideas. I would prefer if you make up your own idea, okay? Instead of taking this. If you take one of these ideas, you will have to then at least write a couple of statements to support these ideas. The first one is local job opportunities, personal development, cost of rescuing people, and knowledge about the world, for example. Remember that your own idea has to answer or help answer the question above. Always keep this in mind. And the question above is, do you think adventure tourism in unexplored parts of the world should be encouraged? Okay? What do you want to say, like a finishing part for your answer to this question? What comes into your mind when you think about this question? Do you think adventure tourism in unexplored parts of the world should be encouraged? It could be, for example, the excitement of knowing new things, okay? If that is what, for example, moves you when you think about adventure tourism in unexplored parts of the world, maybe you think, whoa, this is super exciting. I would love to do this, okay? So you could talk from the part of the excitement and how special it would be to do this, okay? That could be an idea to talk about, okay? what you personally get out of this experience. For example, your growth as a person doing this. It could be anything. Think about what makes you this question feel, or what makes you want to talk about. So here it is, the writing for today. Okay, you can start now and then finish, and I will correct it. Here we have, okay, it's the same type of exercise. In your English class, okay, this is entering to the situation. In your English class, you've been discussing the importance of nature. Now, your teacher has asked you to write an essay. Write an essay using all the notes and give reasons for your point of view. Write 140 to 190 words, okay? The question. This is the most important thing of the writing. The question. Many people living in the countryside, many people think living in the countryside provides a better way of life. To what extent do you agree with this statement? And now we have the notes. First note, health benefits. Second note, day-to-day life. And third, your own idea. Here, I want you guys, you can do it any way you want, but the class of today, I've been showing you tips on how to avoid this exercise better, which is finding at least one statement before starting the writing. Find at least one statement you could talk about for each note. Then write your own note, your own idea. Find the statement for it, okay? From the before point of view, and always thinking about answering the question. Then I have here 4 questions. Read the questions and underline the key points. Key points of the question, which are, for example, living in the countryside, better way of life. Brainstorm ideas around the topic. What will your own idea be? Make notes on the positive and negative points. Do you agree or disagree? Or can you see both sides? This is also interesting. Do you want to have already a tone, or do you want to say different things? Do you want to agree or disagree? You can give various options, you know. Your point of view can be in the negative and in the positive side at the same time. So you can do that. Or you can just position yourself in one, and that's it. Plan how many paragraphs you will have and decide which notes you will include in each one. That is interesting too. I think the easiest thing to do would be to take a paragraph for each note. But, for example, in this case, health benefits and day-to-day life could be really easily put together in one paragraph. But you know, if you have to write down from 140 to 190 words, and you can't come up with new ideas, it's hard for you to come up with ideas. For example, Lucia, for you it's hard to come up with ideas. So it's better if you at least take one paragraph for each idea instead of creating more new ideas, you know? Yes? Okay. So there is 7 minutes before we finish the class. Okay, so guys, before I go, tomorrow, because on Thursday, I don't know how many of the other guys can make it, so tomorrow, Wednesday, we will do our speaking class, okay, at 12, like a normal one, and hopefully you will be able to see me, I hope so. And, so, okay, so tomorrow, speaking class, and at 12, like always. And hope everybody can come, because the speaking class, it's important too. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so you can finish this writing. I'm gonna leave the conversation. You can finish it on your Google Drive, or you can write it down here in the conversation, whatever you want to do. But please finish it. I'm gonna send it to Nicole and to Tony so they can do it too, and send it to me, because it's important that I start correcting your writing so I can guide you. Where do you need to focus, okay? And that's it. Thank you very much for coming to class today. Hope you learned new ways of how to do this exercise and how you do it better. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Have a great day. Bye.